Hey everybody, welcome into Extra Dough episode 3 with JD Yonke at YonkerCFB on Twitter. We are here to break down the biggest quarterback battles in the college football season, the quarterback battles that will define the college football season. As always, brought to you by Daily Bread Media. Check them out on YouTube. Check them out on Twitter. Doing great things in the betting landscape. So, first up, we have Clemson, the Clemson Tigers out of the ACC. It's a two-way battle. Clemson, obviously one of the biggest powerhouses in college football, but they took a step back last year. This is going to be an important battle because we don't know what's going to happen with Clemson. There was some roster turnover, there was some coaching turnover, most notably, and there's going to be possibly quarterback turnover, depending who you ask. So you're asking me, you're coming to me for this information. Let's figure it out. First up, you have DJ Uiagalelei. This is the incumbent starter. He was supposed to be the next big thing. He was a five-star recruit out of St. John Bosco. In 2020, he came in and played against Boston College, played against Notre Dame, and he looked like the real deal, especially in that Notre Dame game. Threw for 439 yards and 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown to boot in overtime to beat the Irish. Both teams were 7-0 at the time. It was a fantastic game. Go ahead and rewatch it. I think it's the most memorable game of that COVID season. I think it was the best game of that COVID season. It was fantastic. So anyway, since then, he was supposed to be the guy to fill in for Trevor Lawrence, right? Supposed to be the guy. Everything was there. Powerhouse program, 5-star recruit, can't miss. Clemson's been churning out quarterbacks left and right, Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, etc. And he can't miss. He's already played. He's played against great defenses and performed great. And he missed. He was abysmal last year. Absolutely terrible. 55% completion percentage, only 6 yards per attempt. 9 touchdowns compared to only 10 interceptions. Yes, he threw more interceptions than touchdowns. That's not going to cut it at a program like Clemson. In general, they struggled. The offense was 82nd in scoring overall. That's not up to par. It's not up to par. Dabo Swinney expects excellence, and I think this job is not guaranteed to be his. It's unheard of for a program that has played this well in recent memory to be 82nd in scoring offense. 82nd. They were still right there in the ACC race, though. They have the great defense, obviously, so the quarterback battle could possibly have a huge impact on the college football season. This is a big decision for Dabo Swinney to make. In comes Cade Klubnik from the state of Texas, number 6 overall recruit in the country, per 24/7 Sports. He's a 5-star. He's a stud. Really showed out at the Elite 11 camps. Neither guy has really amazed me in camp. If you're asking for my take on who wins this, in spring game, the offense looked dreadful. Go ahead and try to watch it. It's dreadful. I'm not playing any clips. I have a few clips to show from some of these quarterbacks I'm talking about. There's nothing worth showing here for these guys. Really isn't. I think Cade Klubnik's the better quarterback. I don't think it's difficult. We had a full season on DJU, and if there was something to show, he would have showed it. He had a whole year, in my opinion. That being said, I do think DJU will start the year as the starter. That seems to be the general consensus, and I think I agree with it. I'm not even that confident about that, though. People think it's a shoo-in. I'm not even that confident. They have games against Georgia Tech, Furman, and Louisiana Tech. Very easy schedule. I think that they're going to want to play both quarterbacks during that schedule and see how they look. That's how I interpret it. A lot of people say you're going to build up DJU's confidence. Yeah, I think so. You're also going to probably have some blowouts and want to see how Klubnik's going to look, I would think. I think it's a matter of time for Klubnik. I would be shocked if Klubnik does not start at least one game this year. I think DJ has to show something very, very quickly. He has to show out in those first 3 games, absolutely ball out. Otherwise, I think he's getting pulled. That's my verdict. All right, next, we got Texas A&M. They are in the news for all the wrong reasons. Nobody really cares. Jimbo Fisher's being a big dummy. Nick Saban's being a big dummy. I'm not interested in all that. I really don't give a shit. I don't. What I do care about is their performance on the field. Texas A&M. They recruit at a level no one else is recruiting at. It's that simple. The 2023 class they're bringing in, big things are expected. You can't go 8-4 again, Jimbo. You can't be talking all this smack and then go 8-4 again. You just can't do it. They have a lot of expectations, and that makes me nervous because what have they done in recent years? They failed to live up to expectations. The hype's going on again this year. I'm a little nervous about it. So let's take a look at the quarterback position. One of the main knocks against Jimbo Fisher lately, right, in College Station, is he just hasn't really found the right quarterback. We tried the whole Kellen Mond thing. He was okay. But even Kellen Mond was talented enough and had enough experience. He should have looked better in college. So I think there are some knocks, some serious knocks, some knocks I believe in as far as what he's doing at the quarterback position, what he is doing. If you're recruiting at that level, how have you not gotten a star quarterback yet? How have you not figured out an offense? When the rest of the SEC has figured it out, Alabama went from running the pro style to running the spread better than anyone. We saw Joe Burrow at LSU. We saw Georgia take a step forward offensively. Finally, we'll see if they continue that. It's a big year. Jimbo has to show something. He's talking like he's going to show something. We need to see it. You beat Bama last year. Congrats. You had the game of the year from Zach Calzada, and now he's off at Auburn. He wasn't good. You need a quarterback. One game. Calzada played great. Played out of his mind. You can't rely on that every year. So, the offense is behind. Offense is behind. I think it's a three-man race. You have Max Johnson coming in from LSU. He has SEC starting experience. Then you have Haynes King, who won the job last year. He got hurt, broke his leg in the first quarter against Colorado. That's the second game of the year. But I will reiterate, he won the job last year. So, let's go ahead and see. You're hearing this Haynes King kid, he has a legit 4.4 speed. Okay, well, he fractured his leg, and he didn't look great against Kent State. Threw 2 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. You're saying, why should I care about Haynes King? Just look at this kid's speed. I know it's the spring game. This is him coming off a fractured leg. That's legit 4.4 speed. Watch it again. I get it's a spring game. You're not supposed to touch the quarterback. They couldn't touch the quarterback if they wanted to. Not today. I think it's a legit battle. You also have Connor Weigman. Forgive me on the pronunciation. He's a 5-star coming in from Cypress, Texas. He didn't look ready to me in the spring game. Did not look very good. Threw a lot of wobbly balls, to be honest with you. I think he's going to need to take some big strides between now and September to compete. And I kind of like Johnson and King above him. But he's in the mix because he's supposed to be the quarterback of the future. Like I said, Jimbo needs to bring in the quarterback. Supposedly he brought one in. So he's going to be in the mix as well. But he needs to take some big strides. He does not look ready whatsoever, to me. What is my verdict? And why do we care? I think Max Johnson wins this job. But I do not think he's a tremendous option. I think he gets the nod because he has that SEC starting experience. He looks like the best quarterback to me. But he does not have this locked up whatsoever. If he struggles, Jimbo will say, yet again, another year, I do not have the quarterback I want. You go to Haynes King, I don't think you're going to get much better results, to be perfectly honest with you. I think the two are very, very even. But this is Max Johnson's job. That is my verdict. All right, let's head on over to Eugene. Pacific Northwest. We have a 3-way battle going on. Yet again, we have Bo Nix. He transferred in from Auburn. He's been around for what seems like quite a few presidential terms. Quite a few different presidents. And yet Bo Nix is still playing college football. He's transferred to where he began his career, so to speak, playing against Oregon in his first game at Auburn. Running around like a chicken with his head cut off. It's how he still plays football now, but it worked that game. Hasn't worked many other games since. Reason I think Bo Nix will probably wrap up this job. Kenny Dillingham is the new offensive coordinator at Oregon. Joe Moorhead left. He's the new head coach at Auburn. Kenny Dillingham, he coached at Auburn previously. He has familiarity with Bo Nix. I think that's why Bo Nix is assumed to be the starter. That being said, it's still a 3-way race. We have Ty Thompson. He's supposed to be the future of the program. He is supposed to be the golden kid in Eugene, the big recruit, the quarterback they've been waiting for since Marcus Mariota left. But he hardly played it down last year. And I'll tell you what, they had a very underwhelming quarterback in Anthony Brown. That was a team that was playing. I'm pretty sure they were ranked in the top 5 last year. They were ranked in the top 10 for a lot of last year. And Anthony Brown was a negative compared to a lot of the rest of the roster, to be honest with you. So, Ty Thompson, he's a 4-star kid, number 40 overall recruit in the class of 2021. He's big. He seems to have everything. He's 6'4". He's got some athleticism. He's got the arm. He's got the pedigree. He just hasn't shown it. He hasn't been able to play at all. He did not look good in the spring game. At this point, I think he's behind. The third guy in the race, Jay Butterfield. I wanted to shout out Jay Butterfield. I do think it's kind of a three-man race, even though I don't think he's going to win the job, because I love this kid's game. He and Robbie Ashford, they both looked really good to me as backup options in last year's spring game. I think very underrated. Ashford's now at Auburn, and guess what? He's looking amazing in spring. I think Butterfield slept on. He's a big kid. He's accurate. He has a good arm. He throws an amazing ball. It's beautiful. He throws a beautiful ball. His name is Butterfield also, so what's not to love about this kid? That being said, I think it's clearly Nix's job. He looks good in spring. All positive reports. There's all this talk coming out of spring camp. The Ducks haven't averaged 40 points per game since 2015. Dillingham says he wants to get back there. They keep saying they're going to go back to the Chip Kelly days. Sounds like a bunch of media fodder to me. I don't know if I believe that, but they're going to want to play a little faster. The OC is talking pretty lofty, and he has that connection with Nix. He's been the best quarterback in spring. I think it has to be Nix. Dillingham's from the Mike Norvell and Gus Malzahn School of Coaching, right? Both of those guys kind of like their dual threat quarterbacks. They call it like a smash mouth spread, which is a pretty awesome term. You play Georgia in week 1, and I think you throw out the most experienced guy. There's no way you throw out Ty Thompson to the Wolves, to the Bulldogs in week 1. You want Nick's experiences for that. So I think it's his job to lose. If he does Bo Nix things and starts throwing too many interceptions, taking too many bad sacks, then yes, he will lose the job because there are 2 good quarterbacks behind him. All right, moving on. Texas. Is Texas back? That's a pod for a future day. I only included Texas in this video because people are talking about this job like it's a competition. I got news for you. It's not a competition. That's how coaching staffs talk in the offseason. Get used to it. People act like they've never seen a college football offseason before. It happens every offseason. Coach speak. Coach speak is a term for a reason, fellas. It is. This is Quinn Ewers' job. It's that simple. He's a 5-star kid, one of the higher quarterback recruits in recent memory, to be honest with you. He has a ton of weaponry at his disposal. I couldn't say enough positive things about Xavier Worthy, Isaiah Nair. You got Jordan Whittington still there, very talented guy who's been injured, but is still a very good third wide receiver. A third wide receiver most schools would absolutely love to have. You have Jaleel Billingsley, very talented wide receiver tight end, transferring from Bama. Ajayi Hall also transferring in from Bama. And that's not even to mention you have the best running back in the entire country in Bijan Robinson. So this team's loaded. Whoever's playing quarterback is going to do a good job, and that's going to be Quinn Ewers. Hudson Card is the other quarterback, allegedly in the race to win the starting position. He has a lot of fans, and I don't really know why. He has fans everywhere. I don't understand it. He was painful to watch last year. It was painfully obvious watching him in person. Saw him in person. SEC, baby. I never have said that on video. Now it's out there in the world. But I saw it in person. This guy's not ready to play quarterback. Not even close. Very slow processing speed. Very unrefined game. Maybe the tools are there. I get it. He's kind of new to the position. Maybe the tools are there, and that's why people like him. But he's nowhere close. He's not a safe option. He's not a veteran presence. Quinn Ewers is a better quarterback now. He's going to be a better quarterback at the end of the season. He's going to be a better quarterback in 5 to 10 years. So he's going to start week 1 against Louisiana Monroe. He's going to build confidence because he played Alabama in week 2, which I talked about on last week's pod. You're going to want to build Quinn Ewers' confidence. That's his job. It's not a race. All right, next up, Ole Miss. One of my favorite little pet teams. You have Matt Corral. He's off to the NFL. That's a big void to fill for Lane Kiffin and company. I tell you what. There's a competition to fill his shoes, too. I do think there is a competition. First and foremost, I'm going to get this out of the way. I have an obscene man crush on Jackson Dart. It's obscene. It's not healthy. I'm on camera talking about it. This video might get flagged. Do not tell the authorities. You probably would if I spoke at length about Jackson Dart. What I will say about this. I'll speak factually. He was rated as a 4-star transfer, part of an insane transfer class that Ole Miss brought in. He was the crown jewel of it. Why do I love Jackson Dart? He's got rare natural tools. He's a very big kid. He's got a very strong arm. He drops dimes. He throws lasers. He's got underrated athleticism. I think he can run more than he's shown. He was injured last year when he was playing. I think a lot of people are taking that out of account. He's got a cool name. He's got a great attitude. He's a gamer. That's one of those words. What you say? What does it mean? Watch it. He's a gamer. You name it. Everything about this kid I love. He first saw action against Washington State last year. Threw for nearly 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. Even ran the ball for 30 yards, and immediately he jumped onto the scene as a stud. Let's watch the clips. Don't listen to me rave about him. The velocity he puts on the ball, the zip, that's 40 yards. Gets there in no time. Bingo. I mean, I guess it helps when Drake London's on the opposite end of catching passes, but just dimes. Years later in that same game. Again, his first taste of college football action, and he is just hugging it all. I don't understand how you cannot fall in love watching this. You don't have a heart if you don't love this kid. Just drops it right in there. Safety thought he had... Look, safety thinks he's got a whole nother couple seconds to get over there. Put some heat on the ball. I love me some Jackson Dart. Anyway, why is this job not automatically hid? You're saying you're talking him up. He transferred there. It's not. He's extremely raw as a prospect. Those tools I mentioned, they're unrefined. He has some obvious turnover problems. We saw his effectiveness really wane in his last 2 starts to end the year. He wasn't bad. There was just something missing, right? He did play high school ball in Utah, and his high school stats were absolutely insane. If you look him up, you won't believe him. It's not quite in the Bo Jackson territory, the Derrick Henry territory, but it's not too far off either. He's just not really used to this level of competition. He has a lot of growing up to do, I think. I don't have much doubt he's Lane Kiffin's quarterback of the future. I think it's a great match. I have no doubt he has the physical tools. Therefore, I really want to give him the job. He looked terrible in the spring game, like absolutely terrible, and a lot of people are overreacting, but I mean, again, we know the kid's raw, and he looked raw in the spring game. You get him in a place like Lane, in Ole Miss, with Lane Kiffin, supposed to be the quarterback guru. That's the exact person you want coaching up a raw quarterback. So I think it's a match made in heaven. He's going to win this job. He's going to be the starter. That being said, it's not going to be handed to him because if you're in the SEC and you're out there throwing 4 interceptions, you can get pulled at any minute. So Luke Altmaier is going to be there. He looks a little bit more composed, more comfortable in the spring. We have a lot of Herbs thinking on Twitter he's better than Jackson Dart because they watched the spring game and they think their expert analysis is really that good. Of course, he looks more comfortable. He's been in the system. It's not like Altmaier looks great himself in that game either. So I think it's a lot of overreacting. I would guess Dart refines this game and earns the starting role in fall camp. They have a soft opening schedule. They play Troy, Central Arkansas, Georgia Tech. I think if Jackson Dart's working out the kinks, you let him work out the kinks against some boo-boo ass teams is what you do. All right, that's the last of the big ones. I'll put some quick hitters on here, some other important ones. There's some big team names with some quarterback battles, and they could go a long way in deciding the season. So I want to get my thoughts out there on them. Michigan, they're coming off a playoff appearance. Jim Harbaugh's Michigan Wolverines. They still have a quarterback competition. Cade McNamara, he's the incumbent starter. And then you got J.J. McCarthy. He's the big recruit from IMG. I think McCarthy would win this job in a normal offseason. I do. He's got the more pedigree. I think they want to open up that offense and use his legs. I think that would go a long way, right? But that being said, he injured his shoulder during spring. McCarthy, he didn't get a full spring in. I think that just gives McNamara, especially coming off a playoff appearance, being the incumbent starter, I think that just there's too much in his favor. That being said, they gave McCarthy playing time last season. They're going to give him even more this year. They're going to give him playing time to open the season and see how he looks, right? I think he's going to need McNamara and McCarthy. I think they're both going to make him show him something in the opening part of the season. But that being said, it's McNamara's job to lose for now. It's only a matter of time, but it's his job to lose for now. Next up, we have Notre Dame. A lot of outlets are talking about how this is the biggest quarterback competition on ESPN. It was like the lead quarterback battle they put on their list, and I don't think it's really much of a battle. I think it's Tyler Buchner who's going to win that job. Not sure it's competition. Sure, Drew Pine is there. He's played some games, but I'd be shocked if Tyler Buchner didn't win this job. I get you're playing Ohio State week 1, but I think everything Marcus Freeman says, so I'm like maybe you throw Drew Pine out there because Buchner's not ready. Buchner lost a lot of his high school ball, right? Still kind of a raw prospect, but I mean, Buchner played last season. It's not like this kid's never played before. Like, he saw time last year, which was extremely surprising, but it really showed that he's pushing for playing time. It shows how impressive he is. He's going to get better and better as the year goes along. It's going to be a tough week 1 against Ohio State. Jim Knowles and that defense are going to take a big step forward. We're going to see it against Tyler Buchner. Everyone's going to think Notre Dame sucks, but I think they're going to come on strong later in the year. That's Tyler Buchner's job, to lose. All right, North Carolina, Mack Brown, Tar Heels. You have a really close battle going on between Jacoby Criswell and Drake May. I think this offense is going to be fun as usual. I think whoever wins that job, they're going to have the advantage of throwing to Josh Downs, the all-world wide receivers, one of the most insane insane guys to watch on the football field. This guy just makes some beautiful acrobatic plays. Both these quarterbacks, they can run a little bit. I think they have somewhat of a similar profile. So with that being said, I think this is May's job to lose, unless Chris Will was blowing everybody out of the water, had a way different profile. But they're not. They're relatively similar. Drake Maye, he's been supposed to be the quarterback of the future since he got there. He's always supposed to been to fill in for Sam Howell, and now Sam Howell's gone, and I think Maye's going to fill in, right? He's done nothing to lose that distinction. Also, he's Luke Maye's brother. Luke Maye, basketball legend at North Carolina. They're not going to bench his brother unless they have a damn good reason to, and I don't think they do yet. Chris Paul's a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. They can start at a lot of places, but that's Drake Maye's job to lose. Definitely give me Drake Maye there. I think he's going to have a pretty big year, though, throwing in Josh down. Maybe a little rough to start. Maybe he'll come on strong. He's still a little bit raw, but I like his tools. All right, last but not least, LSU. It's a three-way battle once again. Seems like we have a 10th-year senior here in Miles Brennan. 10th-year senior, Miles Brennan. It's not really 10 years. Seems like it. He's battling Arizona State transfer Jaden Daniels, and then also one of their big recruits, Garrett Nussmeier. This one's really close. This might be the closest of all the battles I've called. I think it is the closest battle, actually, definitely. This is a really tough one to get a read on. Brian Kelly, he's also a tough guy to get a read on because he likes playing 2-3 quarterbacks anyway. He played 3 quarterbacks last year at Notre Dame. That's what he always does. He always tends to find a way. He's been giving out quotes in the offseason that he wants to find his guy. He is not a fan of the 2 quarterback system. Well, yet again, I say, coach speak. We have lots of history on Brian Kelly. Lots of history. And that history all points to he can say whatever the hell he wants to say. He plays 2 quarterbacks, sometimes 3, quite a lot. I think it's going to happen this year. So I don't really think my analysis brings a whole lot. But if you want to run down on these quarterbacks to expect what they're playing, I think Jaden Daniels is actually oddly underrated now. And I say that's tough for me to say because I'm a West Coast guy. I follow the Pac-12. I thought he was really overrated his first couple of years on campus. People were talking this guy like he's a surefire. Not necessarily a surefire, but they're really talking him up. Like people would just pencil him in as the best quarterback in the Pac-12, and if not, they put him top 2, top 3. And I always thought he was a little overrated. I thought he was really unrefined. I thought he was just kind of inexplicably inaccurate at times. Didn't really make sense. That being said, he's a fine quarterback. He has a lot of tools. He's tall. He's got the size. He's got the arm. At times when he's on, he has the accuracy. Like I said, that's a big if. Definitely needs to shore that up. And he's very athletic. I think he could be, if there was anyone that would surprise people, who right now no one is saying is going to be, a top 3-round draft pick, I think it could be Jaden Daniels. If he actually gets some decent playing time, he's got the whole stage set for him on the SEC. Again, not guaranteed to pull through, but he's got Kayshon Boutte. He's got a lot of wide receiving talent. He's got the tools, like I said, and he's not a bad player whatsoever. So if he really wins that job, I think if you're looking for like a sleeper breakout guy, I think it could be him. Being said, there's no guarantee he wins the job. This is an extremely close race. I'd give a slight lean to Miles Brennan getting the first snap because, like I said, he's been there forever. He hasn't really gotten his chance to shine. Brian Kelly's going to want to, there's a lot of roster turnover, a ton of transfers. He's going to want to limit as much of the uncertainty as possible, and Miles Brennan's been in that system forever. Well, again, it's not systems here, right? But he's been in that program forever. So I think he gets the first snap, but I would say it's a very tenuous grip on the job would be my guesstimation. More of a guess than a lot of these other ones to start the year. All right, folks, that wraps it up. Daily Bread Media. JD Yonke here, at YonkerCFB on Twitter. Prize Picks, use the promo code YONKE. That's my last name, YONKE, Yonke. Get $100 on your first deposit, right? 100% deposit match up to $100. So you deposit 25, you get 25. Deposit 50, you get 50. 100, 100, etc. You understand how it works. Next week's pod, I'm looking forward to it. We're going to get back into the conference feature odds. We already took a look at the Pac-12. It's time we hit on some of these other conferences. Show them some love. So we'll be back. JD Yonke here, Daily Bread Media. Less than 100 days to college football. We can't wait. Thank you.